Welcome to a deadline stream for UCL Fantasy. This is Matchday 10. And yeah, the lineups are out. We're going to be going through that. We're going to be going through your problems. We're going to be talking about my team and also the transfer plans I have going forward. And by the way, I don't know if this is a glitch on the browser I'm using, but just look at this. This is not a pitch, is it? It's just a blue screen. I used a different browser and it was working properly, but you know what? I don't mind this, but yeah, it does seem a bit weird, doesn't it? I've never seen it like this, just complete blue background, but whatever, it is what it is, and it's not really that important. Let's go through the lineups first. As you can see here from the players I have, Kimmich is starting, Koeman is starting, Neymar and Mbappe, so pretty much a clean sweep there, so pretty happy with that. Let's go through the lineups and see which of our players are going to start. So for PSG, Navas is in. But yeah, no Marquinhos, which is why I did get rid of him. They have Diallo, Kimpembe, Danilo Pereira at centre-back and Dagba, Idrissa Gana Gueye and Paredes as the defensive midfielders, Draxler, Neymar, Di Maria as a front three behind Kylian Mbappe. And then for Bayern Munich, Neuer's there, Alphonso Davies and Pavard as the fullbacks, Hernandez and Boateng as the centre-backs, and Kimmich and Alaba filling in there for Leon Goretzka, who is another one who I got rid of. He's injured. Kingsley Coman does start. He did come off at half-time during the weekend. There's something that I didn't mention in my team selection video, but he's fine. He travelled with the squad, obviously, and he's in. Thomas Müller in behind Choupo-Moting with Leroy Sané on the right wing. And to be honest, I mean, why not just play Sané on the left and Coman on the right? I don't know, but it is what it is. We won't really focus too much on the kind of, bench players. Chelsea versus Porto, we still have plenty of their assets, so yeah, I haven't seen yet. So yeah, all of my players are starting here. Edouard Mendy, Azpilicueta, Zuma and Rudiger. So that's triple Chelsea defence. Reece James, Jorginho, Kovacic and Alonso. I'm not too surprised there with Chilwell starting in the Premier League also. A bit strange, but maybe Alonso could cost them. Who knows? But Mason Mount, Kai Havertz and Olivier Giroud comes in. And then for Porto, they have Marchesín in goal, Sanusi, Mbemba, Pepe, Manafa, Corona on the wing with Otavio, Uribe and Oliveira, who's back from his suspension, and Marega and Taremi, another one who's also back from his suspension. So that's how it's looking at the moment, and all in all of our assets, or at least all of my assets, are starting and should be the same for the majority of you. Let's go through all your questions, and before obviously I get through them, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. It really helps out the channel, and yeah, I would just really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's go through your questions. Emilio, who's asked this actually quite a few hours ago, hopefully you're still here. Hi Dylan, love the content. Mendy hits and Modric or Mendy, Edison and Casemiro? Great question and appreciate it. To be honest, I'd probably go for the second bunch, Mendy, Edison and Casemiro, because Casemiro's going to get you at least 4 or 5 points because of ball recoveries. Modric is going to do something similar. What Modric has on top of that is the assist potential, which Casemiro doesn't really have. But Mendy and Edison, you have the two best keepers for the rest of the competition, really, as opposed to just having Mendy and hits. But then again, I mean, when it comes to the final, you ultimately only can play one keeper. But yeah, in the semi-final, you can have the option of having Mendy and Edison, so I would prefer that. You'd maybe be a bit tighter on budget, but Casemiro kind of counteracts that, so yeah, I'd go for the second trio. Anonymous Reflection says, yo, how's it going, young GOAT? Well, there's no GOAT here, but thank you very much for your comment, really appreciate it. Hopefully you are doing well. Adi says, hits Edison, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, Nat Diaz, maybe I'm bugging with an NAT. Kimmich, Coman, Casemiro, Jota, Salah, Gundogan, Moting, Mbappe, Haaland. Transfer suggestions: Kimmich, Coman, Jota out for Modric, De Bruyne, James. Really don't want to lose Jota. In that case, you could just keep Jota for this week, but going forward, you'd probably suspect that Liverpool are getting eliminated, although you can never say never. But yeah, if you don't want to get rid of them, then just keep Jota for now and get rid of the other two. But to be honest, with Kimmich and Coman, they are starting. I can see one of them getting a goal or assist. Who will it be? I couldn't tell you. But yeah, it's a tough one. Going forward, you have a very good team. A lot of them can be carried on to the next round. So yeah, I can see kind of the conundrum you have, Addy, in terms of what transfers you want to make. I'd probably go with something similar to those lot, though, and if not, Choupo-Moting. But yeah, from those that you mentioned, despite me thinking that Coman could do something today, I think he'd probably be the first one to get rid of. Speedy123 says, let's get it. Well, yeah, hopefully, let's get it. Welcome, Robert Baus. Lovely GTA session earlier, wasn't it? Lam Calvin, welcome. Ninad says, lol, the background. Exactly, I really don't know. Let's refresh it and see what happens. Literally, this is outside my control, unfortunately. And to be honest, I actually kind of like it. It does suit the UCL Fantasy theme. And look, is it a Google Chrome problem? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure none of you are going to be experiencing this sort of problem, but something unique, I guess. Something to distinguish the channel. Varad says, Marquinhos replacement. Already have Rudiger, Aspie, Kimmich and Stones. Well, to be honest, I think City and Chelsea are the best defences. I back both of them to go through. However, you can never say never. Dortmund still have a chance, and even Porto. But yeah, in terms of going forward, Marquinhos should be back for the semi-finals. But if you want to get rid of him now, which is something that I've done, yeah, there's not too many options. You could maybe go for, I mean, I would have said Varane, but he's obviously missing this leg because of the COVID test. I'll be honest, the options aren't really there. You could maybe go for another City defender, especially if you don't have Edison, so maybe a Cancelo or Diaz. But beyond that, I would basically recommend Christensen. I honestly think that those two defences are the best ones you can go for. I wouldn't recommend a Liverpool defender because they are most likely going out. Same with Dortmund and all these other teams like Porto. So really the pool of players you have is limited. And yeah, I wouldn't recommend a Bayern defender. PSG, you could maybe go for Kimpembe, but other than that, yeah, I just probably stick to another Chelsea or City defender. Speedy123 says, why Casemiro? He receives too many yellows, which causes point loss. Well, yeah, but in the midst of those yellow cards that he gets, I mean, look how many ball recoveries. So, for example, we look at the last game, 13 balls recovered against Liverpool. He was a colossal force in that midfield. Every single game this season, apart from these two where, I mean, I think in this one, yeah, look, he only played 32 minutes. Other than that, the lowest points total he has got is 3 points. And in terms of ball recoveries, he's the top guy out there of anyone you can get. And he's a cheap one. Ultimately, if it was, money isn't an issue, who would you rather have, Luka Modric or Casemiro? I'd go for Modric, but there is an extra 1.5 million in there in the conversation. Going forward, I did mention Modric. I want to have him on top of Casemiro if Real Madrid do advance to the semi-finals, but I understand your concern about Casemiro. He is a bit of a hothead. He could even get a red card, but ultimately, I think he is worth having. Around 6 million, probably the best option you can go for. I prefer him over Jorginho despite the penalties. I don't think Chelsea will keep a clean sheet. Taremi Oliveira back, so tough. Yeah, true. Maybe tripling up on their defence isn't a good thing, but I'm also thinking about the semi-final, which, to be fair, could be Real Madrid, and if not, it's Liverpool. It's going to be tough, but yeah. Ultimately, other than City, Chelsea is the defence I trust the most. They've only conceded 2 goals this season in the Champions League. Havertz and Mendy or Edison and Mount? I prefer Edison and Mount. Mendy, I'll be honest, I actually prefer him over Edison because he is cheaper, offers great value. But yeah, I just prefer Mount over Havertz. More consistency, he's on set pieces. Then again, Mount only scored his first Champions League goal in his career the other day. But you know what? He's got that assist potential too. Are the Chelsea lineups out? Yes, Kobe. I read them out earlier. Most of our assets are starting. And in terms of the attacking force, they have Havertz, Mount and Giroud. Emilio says, still here. Thanks for the advice. Thank you, Emilio, and really appreciate that you've been here. And appreciate the comment you made all the way back at 6 p.m. GMT. So thank you for that. Ali says, Koeman, Jota and Trent to KDB, Modric and Phillips. That looks good, to be honest. Trent to Phillips is a bit of a sideways move, but I completely understand it. What you're doing there is obviously funding the other moves. And going forward, you could just bench Phillips. He's 4.5 million, but I completely get that. And yeah, the other transfers look pretty solid, to be honest. And going forward, you would expect them to advance in the competition and to do really well for you. Koeman or Jota? Asked Varad. Ironically enough, I think Koeman is more likely to go through, if anything. But in terms of this game week, maybe I just prefer... You know what? I'd probably say Koeman still. But Jota, never rule him out. Maybe he can do something. Where are you seeing the lineups? Well, I saw the lineups on LiveScore and on SofaScore. They are 2 apps that obviously give you all the lineups and all the details that have come out. Let me actually double check just in case. Oh yeah. Yeah. What was I checking? What was I checking? They gave me a notification for the lineups, and I think there's actually quite a few errors in there. So the PSG one's fine. Yeah, I think Bayern one is fine. I said that right, but I think the Chelsea one, I think Chilwell's starting. Let's see. Yeah, Chilwell's starting. Where did I get that from? Thank you for pointing that out. I mean, literally what I basically read there was a fantasy lineup. One conjured in someone's mind. I don't know why I got that. Oh dear. But yeah, Rudiger starting, Mendy, Jorginho, Thiago Silva, Kante, Pulisic, Mount, Chilwell, Reece James, Azpilicueta, Havertz. So all of my players are still starting. That's a relief. But yeah, there's no such thing as that front three that I said about Giroud and all of that. Thiago Silva's in there too. Pretty interesting lineup there from Chelsea. And as for Porto, I think that is pretty much right. Yeah, I said all of those players. Maybe I don't remember saying Pepe, but yeah, all of them are in there. So not really a surprise in the Porto lineup. And yeah, I have to be honest, I'm still looking at this blue screen thinking, what the hell is going on? But yeah, it is what it is. Do you prefer to take one punt player for this match day like Sergio Oliveira? Asked Fakri. Good question. I'll be honest, if you're happy with the rest of your team and you are able to make a 1 week punt without taking a hit, then yeah, I would like to maybe make one or two, despite the fact that he's probably going to be eliminated. But even if he is, he could get you a 10-pointer or more. So yeah, I would maybe like a one or two players for a 1 week punt, but ultimately in my situation I couldn't do that. That's why I didn't go for Sergio Oliveira. If he wasn't suspended in the first place, he probably would have been in my team, but that's just going back. I'm a Chelsea fan and I really fancy our chances to at least be in the final. Yeah, I mean, you have the easiest pathway, or should I say, I mean, those from that side have the easier pathway because PSG, Bayern and City, they literally all need to face each other to get to the final. But yeah, I think Chelsea, if I had to bet, I do think Chelsea have a better team than Real Madrid right now. But the one concern I would have as a Chelsea fan, if both of those teams do advance to the semi-finals, is that Madrid's midfield is just exceptional and they could literally boss Chelsea around. But other than that, I think Chelsea can cause them problems, and defensively they can be resolute and keep a clean sheet or two against Madrid. Patel says, only focusing on quarter-final leg 2. Any forward recommendation? I'd probably say Benzema, Neymar, Mbappe. Yeah, I mean, Chelsea's just, I couldn't really recommend any of their assets, so I wouldn't go for them. But yeah, those are the sort of ones I'd look at. Even Haaland is still an option, and Choupo-Moting. I wouldn't really look beyond those players. Yeah, Giroud is not starting as Pulisic. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Benzema or Haaland? For this game week, I'd recommend Benzema. To be honest, going forward, you would expect Benzema to go through. Haaland is more likely to be eliminated. But yeah, with Haaland, he's just a Champions League beast, isn't he? Best Mbemba replacement for 5.7 million. Shadow Gaming, I'm not entirely sure which players you have available, but I would recommend a Chelsea defender. Even if you already have one, including Mendy, I would recommend another one. So Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Christensen, and if not from City, Cancelo, Stones, Diaz. And other than that, I'll be honest, the options aren't really there for you. I wouldn't really recommend the Liverpool asset because I do think they're getting knocked out and I don't see a clean sheet. So yeah, those are the sort of players I'd look at. Best player suggestions for Limitless, asks Satvik. Okay, that's an interesting one. I'd still go for double or triple Chelsea defence. I'd go for Cancelo and Stones. So yeah, I'd go with Mendy and Ederson as the keepers. In defence, I go for Azpilicueta, Rudiger. Yeah, you mean, to be fair, I mean, because it's on a Limitless, you could just go for Chilwell instead of one of those Chelsea defenders. It's up to you who you go for. The reason why I like Rudiger and Azpilicueta is because of their ball recoveries. So if Chilwell doesn't get an assist or a goal, he probably will score lower than those two, but the kind of attacking upside is there. But yeah, I'd go for 2 Chelsea defenders on top of Mendy. I'd go for a City defender. So yeah, you could go for Cancelo. And yeah, Ederson in goal. And in terms of the other defender, I'm not sure. You could maybe go for Trent, but I don't know. I don't see him keeping a clean sheet. So that's where it kind of gets a bit ambiguous. I'd probably go for Kimmich because of the attacking potential, despite the fact that I think PSG will score. The midfield, Kevin De Bruyne is definitely in there. I'd go with Salah as well. Other than that, yeah, it gets a bit difficult because I'm not that excited about the other assets. You could maybe still go for Modric. The attack, by the way, that's probably the easiest one. Just go for Mbappe, Neymar, and I'd probably say Benzema. But yeah, the other midfielders, that's where it gets a bit cloudy. You could literally just go for any of them. But yeah, those are kind of the players I'd be targeting on a Limitless right now. Ninad says, my transfers, Koundé, Savic, Dahoud out, Kante, Reece James, Rudiger in. Yeah, I mean, some of those players I forgot about. They got eliminated time ago, didn't they? But yeah. Lipok says, I don't play UCL Fantasy, but just dropping by to say, hey, how do you think Liverpool will do? I think Liverpool will win the second leg, but it won't be enough to go through. So I think Real Madrid will do enough. So if, let's say, Liverpool do keep a clean sheet, it'll be like a 1-0 or something, or a 0-0. But I think it'll be both teams will score, and I think it'll be like a 2-1, and Madrid will go through. But you never know. I think if Liverpool had fans available, and obviously if this was last year's Liverpool team, then I'd definitely back them to go through, even with a 3-1 deficit, even a 4-1 deficit, to be fair. But yeah, with how it's going right now, I think Madrid will go through. Mbappe or Neymar, I'd probably say, you know what, I do like Neymar as a differential, I'll be honest. I really like him, but I still expect Mbappe to score the bulk of the goals for PSG, so yeah, Mbappe it is. Kobe says, should I get Koeman or Vinicius Jr.? By the way, glad my Chris Wood captaincy came through. Yeah, I think, Kobe, you said you also thought about captaining Iheanacho. I mean, wow, what a performance he did as well. But yeah, I mean, Chris Wood better than my captain. I captained Sterling. Let's not talk about that. I already knew it was a big risk. As for Koeman or Vinicius Jr., I'd probably go for Vinicius Jr. I think he can cause damage yet again to Liverpool, and he is more likely to go through. Varad says, which two should I pick from Koeman, Jota and Modric? Should I get Neymar in for Haaland? Yeah, I think Neymar in for Haaland is a fair bet. And as for the two that you should pick from those three, I'd go with probably Koeman and Modric. But to be honest, I don't fancy Koeman or Jota that much, and I have both of them in my team. But yeah, not really feeling it. Modric is definitely the one I'd go for. Kobe says, I have 5 Chelsea assets. Mendy, Rudiger, Chilwell, Aspie, Mount. Thoughts? I mean, I want to say it's overkill, because if they do reach the final, then you're already setting yourself up well for that, because in the final, obviously, you can have 8 players from one team and 7 from the other. But yeah, I mean, fair enough. I think right now, in this moment in time, 3 or 4 is probably the best number. But you know what? 5 might be good. Some of those players you have there can do really well. And yeah, you've got 4 Chelsea defenders. That is insane, really. Blues FPL says, come on, Chelsea. Hopefully your Arsenal can come back in the Europa League. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, Arsenal aren't out yet, but just, oh my God, I don't want to talk about Arsenal, to be honest. And the way they capitulated at the end and the chances missed is just unforgivable. But it is Arsenal at the end of the day. They should win against Slavia, and if not, serious questions have to be asked. And what a terrible season it is. Jota out for Mount. You know what? That's a fair transfer. I would probably go for that. Although if you don't have Modric and players like that, I would recommend them over Mount. But yeah, Mount is a good option. Mount or Foden or someone else at 8 million midfield. Modric or Foden would be my top 2, I guess. But yeah, Mount is still a good option. Robert with Chelsea. Do you have any other chant, by the way? Just asking. But Varad says, which option should I pick? Salah, Neymar, Choupo-Moting, Salah, Haaland, Choupo-Moting, or Neymar, Haaland, Modric? The third one looks the best, but obviously going forward, I don't expect Haaland to go through. But yeah, the third one looks by far the best, Varad. Neo says, would a saved transfer be available in the next round? No. This is what I've been asked before. So in the group stages, there was this thing where some transfers did carry over. But in the knockout stages, none of that happens. No transfers are carried over. So whether you use all of your free transfers right now, whether you use 1, 2, all 3, or you use 0, it doesn't matter. You're going to end up with 5 transfers going into the next round of matches in the semi-finals. So yeah, it doesn't make any difference. Shadow Gaming says, what is a limitless plus my defense and goalkeepers are Mendy, Edison, Aspie, Rudiger, Cancelo, Mbemba, and Kimmich. For the Mbemba replacement, should I just get Koundé that doesn't play? Shadow Gaming, yeah, in your situation, I'd probably just get a budget defender. You could even get Mori from Dortmund, who's probably going to get eliminated, probably won't do anything, but he's just cheap and he's an enabler. If not, you could just go for, I mean, I don't know what your budget is. But yeah, I mean, you have Cancelo, Mbemba, Kimmich, Aspie, Rudiger. You could just go for, I mean, yeah, to be fair, in your situation, you've already got double City defence, you've got double Chelsea defence. You could just go for, just a cheap asset and just focus on the rest of your team. And as for a limitless, it's basically like a free hit from FPL, but you have an unlimited budget. So for example, in the Champions League group stages, you could literally have Ronaldo, Messi, Lewandowski up front. In midfield, you could have Salah, De Bruyne, Mane, all of this. And in defense, you could have Trent, etc. And yeah, you just be stacked. Modric or Kroos? Definitely Modric. He gets more ball recoveries, he gets more assists. Yeah, definitely Modric for me. Abid Man says, replacement for Marquinhos. I mean, I did say this before. It ultimately depends on who you have, but I would recommend a Chelsea or City defender. Honestly, I look at the other teams and I just don't really feel it with them. Whether it's going through, whether it's keeping a clean sheet, or whatever, the ball recoveries. I just think that, yeah, I'd go for Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Chilwell, all these sorts of players. Cancelo, Stones, Diaz. Take your pick from those lot if you don't have any of them. February says, Dylan, what do you think about Thomas Muller? I was asked this before, I think, last week, by Aranya. He's a good option, he always is, but I do prefer others like Koeman. But then again, last week, Muller was the one who scored, Koeman did nothing. But yeah, Muller's a good option, he always will be. He could be a good one-week punt, but ultimately I think there are better midfielders out there. Abdullah says, should I captain Neymar or Mbappe? I would captain Mbappe just because I expect him to score more goals than Neymar. Neymar's probably going to be the more creative force like he was in the away leg. So yeah, I'd go for Mbappe myself. But Neymar is a differential and he's got a great record against Bayern Munich. I think that's 4 goals in 5 games and 3 assists. Apart from the Champions League final last year, he loves playing against Bayern Munich. So yeah, I'd still go for Mbappe, but you can't really go wrong with either one of them, to be honest. Shadow Gaming, okay, thanks for the help, bro. Thank you for your comment and good luck with this game week. Abidman, thank you for tuning in. It's Brandon. Who do you think would be a good captain on the Wednesday in the case Mbappe flops? So this is something that I said in my team selection video the other day. You look at the options really, and if you have De Bruyne, I think he's the standout. De Bruyne would be the one to be captain on Wednesday. But if not, there's still Haaland. He's a good option, regardless of if there's no Sancho, whether he's playing against Manchester City, all this stuff. But De Bruyne would be top of my list, definitely. Then it would be the likes of Haaland, Salah. He's probably my second pick, Salah. And then, yeah, maybe Jota. But to be honest, I would pretty much stick to 3. De Bruyne, Salah, and Haaland from Wednesday. And I really wouldn't look elsewhere. I'm not too confident in the others. So yeah, that's just the way I see it. Reece James or Thiago Silva? I prefer Reece James just because, I don't know, I see him getting more points, really. Thiago Silva's going to get more ball recoveries, but Reece James is going to potentially get more assists and stuff like that. But overall, I'll be honest, I prefer Christensen, I prefer Rudiger, I prefer Azpilicueta, and having Mendy in goal. That's just my opinion about it. And even Ben Chilwell, to be fair, although with him you're mainly relying on a goal or assist. No problem, Miss Brandon. Aranya says, how nailed on is James to start in the future regularly? Is he a viable option? Well, at that right wing-back spot, it's really just between him and Hudson-Odoi, and we're really at the crunch end of the season. We're in crunch time, and Hudson-Odoi is a right wing-back when he's facing, top players, even the Real Madrid wingers, and then, in the final, if Chelsea do make it there, facing whether it's, the City wingers or the Bayern wingers or the PSG wingers, he's going to have a torrid time. So I do expect Reece James to continue to start in the Champions League. Overall, though, you might see 1 or 2 rotations here and there, but you'd mainly expect it in the Premier League. So yeah, I do think he's going to be playing the majority of the games, especially these important ones in the Champions League, but I'm not entirely sure if he's nailed. With Chelsea, really, it's Azpilicueta who's the most nailed. Mason Mount is quite nailed, although not completely. Mendy's another one, and then you're looking at Rudiger maybe. Stones or Cancelo? To be honest, I prefer Cancelo. Because he does get ball recovery points and he also has that attacking potential. He's been insane in the Champions League this season. I believe he's the top scoring defender alongside Trent Alexander-Arnold. With Stones, I still expect him to start. I think Laporte is having a little bit of a hip issue. But yeah, I probably prefer Cancelo. Ninad says, I'm still surviving with Hitz and Keller as the goalkeepers. That is pretty mad. Yeah, going forward, you'd probably be getting rid of Hitz for a Mendy or something like that. But yeah, fair enough. To be fair, the goalkeepers aren't... they're not that important in UCL Fantasy. What are your predictions for today's games? You know what? Let's bring up the predictor. Can I do that? Yeah, let's bring up the predictor. And I'll show you myself. So let's see. Is it worth doing Coman to Vinicius so the free transfer doesn't go to waste? I think it's worth it anyway. It's a good 1 week punt. I think Vinicius can do well in the competition going forward. I don't really rate him as a player, I'll be honest, but what a great performance against Liverpool the other week, or should I say last week. Yeah, I think it is worth it, but then again, Coman is capable of scoring against PSG. He did it in the most important game of his career in the Champions League final. So there's always that risk of it backfiring, but still good. Yeah, let's get this. I nearly forgot, sorry. So let's get the predictor out. And let's get my predictions on, obviously. So this is what I've gone for at the moment. So yeah, if you don't know, in the Gaming Hub, there is this... there's the predictor, there's Fantasy 5, there's different types of games. But in this predictor, obviously, you can get points from your predictions. You can use your Joker, which basically is like a captaincy. And this is my predictions. 2-0 for Chelsea. I've put Chelsea to score first and Havertz. Although if I probably, reevaluate the lineup, I might change that. I put 2-1 PSG with Mbappe and PSG to score first. And then going forward, I might change the City one to 2-0. And I put De Bruyne to score first. I've actually kind of nailed some of these. I think I put Mason Mount to score first in the last one, and I got that right. And I think I put Kevin De Bruyne in the last one. I'm not entirely sure though. And yeah, 2-1 Liverpool with Salah to score first, but ultimately Real Madrid to go through. That's what I've gone for at the moment, but I might change my mind. And it's good to look at the lineups, obviously, when doing these predictions. Haaland plus Choupo-Moting or Salah plus Modric. The games could go either way, so not sure. Yeah, I agree. I like that Salah Modric one though. I'll be honest. I really like that. Yeah, all of the games are pretty tight. The one that you'd probably say is kind of the most comfortable is Chelsea because of how good they are defensively, the 2-0 lead they have, the 2 away goals. But beyond that, yeah, maybe Liverpool, Madrid. But all of the ties are kind of still in the balance. And if Bayern had Lewandowski and all these top players that they're missing, I'd actually fancy Bayern to nick it. But yeah, it's a tough one. Can you show us your UCL bracket? I have PSG winning UCL. I don't think I've done that yet, but I think in mine I have City or PSG to win it. I always said after I saw the draw, whoever wins that semi-final, obviously from City, PSG or Bayern, whoever does make it there, is going to win the Champions League. I think if City if their mentality is right, I think they will win it. They have the best team in my opinion, but the mentality is so crucial and I'm not sure if they have it yet. And against Dortmund, they missed so many chances, it could have cost them. And I don't know, there's just something about City in the Champions League, they just don't have it yet. Maybe this season that's when they kind of overstep that barrier. But yeah, it's a tough one. I think what could happen in the PSG City semi-final, if that does, come to play, I think PSG will just sit back and counter. City will dominate the game. They might miss some chances. PSG have 1 or 2 shots like they did against Bayern, and they score and they go through. So I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. Can you please answer my question again? I missed it because of bad internet connectivity. Hal nailed on his Reece James to start regularly in the later stages. I think he's going to start, I think he's going to start all of them, but I couldn't tell you with certainty. It's I literally can't. The only ones I can say is definitely going to start is Mendy, Azpilicueta, and Rudiger probably. And maybe Christensen with the form he's in. I just couldn't tell you with, Reece James. Actually, come to think of it though, Christensen isn't playing today, is he? Thiago Silva is. Bit of a weird one. Christensen has been the better player recently. Alejandro, can I copy a team? No. No, you can't. Ninad says City won't UCL. They are Spurs in UCL. I wouldn't go that far because at least City win stuff in general. Spurs don't. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. With City, I think this is the year. If there's ever a year that they do it, I think this could be the one. But they just need to sort that out. I don't know. Fuck it. Captaining Reece James. I mean, fair enough. Why not? You know what? That could actually be a great captaincy. Sometimes these fuck it ones, like people captaining Iheanacho last week in FPL, just all these random players I've seen. People captaining Chris Wood. It's worked, Is Lewandowski definitely not playing? Well, the lineups are out. He's not playing, and even though he was in training yesterday, he's not even going to make the game at the weekend. He's aiming to come back on the 26th of April, I believe, against Bayer Leverkusen, which is obviously in 2 weeks' time. The kind of the diagnosis was 1 month from when he got the injury with Poland, and he's already ahead of schedule, but it's not going to be enough. He's not, people call him a machine, but he's not that much of a machine to make it already. So yeah, and let's actually now talk about my team now that we've caught up with all the questions for a bit. So as you all know, or maybe for those of you who haven't seen the team selection video, I made 3 transfers in the end. Let me try to remember them actually. But I did bring in Azpilicueta, Mendy, and Casemiro. The ones that made way were Hits in goal, Marquinhos and Goretzka, 2 of them being injured, Marquinhos and Goretzka. They're both not playing today, so I've kind of, it would have been a bit of a shame if they actually did start because they could really do something today. And then, yeah, going forward, I think the captaincy today is definitely going to be on Mbappe. I wish I had De Bruyne because he'd be my captain tomorrow, and he's a great option going forward, and he's definitely coming into my team if City go through. He's just a great player. And he hasn't blanked yet in the Champions League this season. Hopefully, I don't jinx him, but you never know. I mean, it's kind of hard to maintain that sort of form. Yeah, that's just how my team is looking. And going forward, let's actually show you a lot the transfers that I had planned. So this is based on what I think will happen. Wait, can it? Oh, yeah. I can just make transfers. I forgot because this blue screen is really putting me off at the moment. So if what I think will happen comes to pass, this is what I would do. Jesus, this is acting really weird today. So yeah, let's go. Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, coming in. So this is what I do. I mean, I would have 3 City midfielders in this case, but it is what it is. I get rid of the Liverpool players. This is obviously, they can still make a comeback, but, let's just assume. Let's make some assumptions. Kimmich out. Yeah, so that'll be 5 in general. View forwards. Doesn't matter. I think I already know who I want. Karim Benzema. Yeah. And then midfielders. Yeah, this would be pretty easy. Be Luka Modric. One of the top scoring midfielders in the Champions League this season. And then defence is where it gets a bit trickier because, to be honest, I'm just not feeling it. But what I might do is just bring Marquinhos back in. I know, sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? And then I'd have 4.2 million remaining. That would be the problem, unfortunately, with going with something like this. So maybe I could just go with a budget defender like Mori and have him on the bench and everyone else is able to play. So that's something that I could do. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. It's kind of like a sneak peek into my transfer plans, but things can change. Obviously, if one of the teams that we expect to go through doesn't, that completely changes the complexion of it. And I really need City to go through. I've got so many of their assets. I've heavily invested in them. I've backed them from a long time to go far in the competition this season. So hopefully they do it. We'll have to wait and see what happens though. So those are my plans at the moment. Let's go back to my team. Let's have this available in a tab though, just in case anyone has missed it. And we can show again. So yeah. Oh dear. Still can't believe it's got a blue screen. Let's go back to your questions now. Christensen had a knock, I think. Oh, fair enough, Aranya. Yeah, I haven't had time to see any comments made recently from Tush or whatever, so thank you for that. Well, I captained Foden last game week. Well, yeah, that's good. I captained on the first day Jota, completely flopped, but then the next day captained Mbappe, so really wasn't too bad. But yeah, sometimes these players that you expect to do well just don't live up to the hype. Imami says, hopefully I got that right. Hello, what do you think about my midfielders? Salah, De Bruyne, Mount, Gundogan. Any suggestions? They look really good, to be honest. I mean, you only mentioned 4, so I'm guessing your other one is just bench fodder. Looks really good, though. I mean, Salah, very good option this week. De Bruyne, too. Both of them can be captaincy options if your captain today doesn't work. And yeah, Mount is a good option. Probably will go through to the next round. Gundogan as well. So yeah, that looks really good. I don't know if I should put Salah or Müller. I would probably still prefer Salah for this game week, but then going forward, yeah, you'd expect both of them to be eliminated, considering how the first leg went. Varad says, put the wrong question the last time. Wanted to ask between Haaland plus Modric or Salah plus Choupo-Moting. Ooh, that's tough. I'd probably go with Haaland Modric. The reason being is because Haaland is just so good in the Champions League, and also Modric is a great option going forward, and Salah and Choupo-Moting both quite likely to be eliminated. They might do very well for you this week, but going forward, I think obviously just having Modric in there is a good option. That's just my opinion on the matter, though. Hi, mate. Mount or Casemiro? Good question. I'd probably still prefer Casemiro because his floor is higher. So every game he guarantees you 4 points or more. With Mason Mount, maybe he'll have some 2 or 3 pointers in there. But they're both good options. I prefer Casemiro as the budget midfielder. But yeah, Mount is still a great option. Havertz and Aspie in for Jota and Trent. Aspie, yes. I'm not sure about Havertz still. I would probably prefer Mason Mount if you wanted a Chelsea midfielder. That's just my opinion on it, though. However, having said that, in my predictions, I do back Havertz to score, so maybe he is worth getting, but yeah, not entirely sure about that. Let's look at the lineups again, because I'm actually going to potentially make some alterations to my predictions. For any of you who do play this, by the way, I think a few 100,000 player. I think I might get that wrong. So Chelsea versus Porto. So yeah, Thiago Silva's in there. Rudiger, Azpilicueta, Mason Mount, Pulisic, Havertz as the false 9. You know what? Yeah, I'd probably stick with this prediction then. Havertz to score first. Bayern Munich versus PSG. I mean, do I think it's going to be 2-0 Chelsea? I'm not sure, to be honest. Porto could sneak a goal in there. And that would obviously be me in the mud because I've got triple Chelsea defence. PSG versus Bayern, 2-1 up for PSG. It would be completely different if Goretzka and Lewandowski and all of these people were available, of course. No Marquinhos, though. I think that could be a high-scoring game again. It could be another 3-2. It could be 4-3. It could be 2-2. Tough one. 3-3. I don't know. Will that be boring and just go with 2-1? I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, these predictions are quite hard. All of these games are very tough to call, which makes it obviously interesting. Chelsea-Porto was the one that I was kind of the most convinced about overall, but yeah, it is what it is. Let's go back to your questions. Thank you and the best of luck. Thank you, Varad, and hopefully you do really well. More green arrows, and yeah, get into the rank that you want. Chilwell and Jota or Pavard and Mount? I'll be honest, I just don't like bringing in the likes of Jota and Pavard in now because I expect both of them to be eliminated and I just don't really see it. I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure about that. I'd probably say, thinking about this game week, Chilwell and Jota's the better one. Yeah, I'd probably do that and then move Jota to Modric going forward. But the thing with Chilwell, I'll be honest, what I don't like about him is that other than goals and assists, which he is capable of, I just don't know if he's going to get those ball recoveries. So yeah, I would prefer the likes of Azpilicueta if you can get him, Rudiger, and Thiago Silva, Christensen, just one of their centre-backs. But yeah, I prefer the first duo. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. And even though I hate your team, good luck. Hopefully you enjoy your match. And yeah, to be honest, the main reason I'm saying good luck is because I need your players to get me points, to be honest. Another Robert says, Casemiro and Curtis Jones or Jorginho and Kante? Casemiro is a great option, so I definitely recommend him. But Curtis Jones, as bench fodder, fair enough. I think he's good. Just a great enabler. So yeah, I'd probably go for the first set of players. But yeah, I'm not really feeling Curtis Jones. I'm not really feeling Jorginho or Kante. And wait, is Kante even playing today? I need to check. It feels like I've seen this lineup a million times already. But yeah, he is back in. That's a bit weird because Tuchel was saying, oh, he might not be back. But he is. Thank you. Good luck. Thank you, Peter Peters. And yeah, enjoy the Champions League. I already have Jota and Pavard, thinking about who to get rid of. Okay, fair enough. I'd get rid of Pavard, mate, because I expect PSG to score. Jota could still maybe nick a goal or assist. So yeah, I'd get rid of Pavard. Hi, mate. Mount or Havertz, no matter the price. Mount for me because he's more nailed. He's on set pieces. I don't know. Maybe Havertz as a differential. Maybe as the false nine. If he can just nail that consistency, maybe he's the Chelsea guy to go for. So it's not as black as white as maybe I just made it seem. I prefer Mount in this moment in time, but Havertz has the potential to be the better asset and to be a great differential for you. You know what? If it was my team, considering the players I have, I would go for Havertz. But if you just want someone kind of safe and secure, you don't really need to worry about him. I think Mount offers more consistency. But you know what? I'd be tempted by Havertz. So yeah, hopefully that does help. It's a very tough question, to be fair. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Imami, and good luck. Imami, hopefully that's not like one of those bait names. But anyway, yeah, thank you. Good luck, everyone. All the best. Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, Peter Peters, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy this sort of content. Who to captain on the second day? As I said before, Bartek, De Bruyne is the standout. If not, if you don't have him, go for the likes of Salah or Haaland. Those would be my top 3 picks in that order. Haaland third, Salah second, and De Bruyne first. Should I replace Big Benz, Coman and Marquinhos with Neymar, Vinicius and Aspi? I mean, I'm not sure who your other striker is, Gaurav, but if you have Haaland, I would probably just get rid of him for Neymar instead of Benzema. That's the way I see it, because Benzema can be a good option for you in the semi-finals and final. He's scored in those sort of occasions before. Coman and Marquinhos out for Vinicius and Azpilicueta, completely agree with. Neymar getting him in, no-brainer. But the point I'm making is if you have Mbappe, if you have Haaland and you have Benzema, I would rather get rid of Haaland because of how likely his team is to go through as opposed to Real Madrid and Benzema. I'd rather get rid of Haaland, but that's just my take on it. Who's your captain today? Mbappe is my captain today. It is kind of a toss-up between him and Neymar, but yeah, I'm going with Mbappe. I get rid of Hummels instead of Marquinhos. Yeah, if you can afford it, you can just keep Marquinhos and he'll be a good option going into the semi-finals if PSG do make it. And PSG are far more likely to go through than Dortmund. However, both ties are still kind of near at a knife's edge in my opinion, especially the Dortmund-City tie. Mount or Sergio Oliveira, only for this match day? To be honest, I'd probably prefer Oliveira, but Chelsea defence is pretty damn good, isn't it? Robert Baus, good luck on Thursday. Hope you go through and win it. Don't want Manchester United winning again. Thank you. Thank you for that. Kind of weird today. The Chelsea fans have shown a bit more love for Arsenal and a bit more support. But to be honest, everyone hates Manchester United apart from United fans. Same with Spurs. Everyone hates them apart from their set of fans. who are used to no success. But that's besides the point, isn't it? But yeah, hopefully we do make it through. It's going to be really difficult without Tierney, isn't it? Maybe Jacques as a left back is going to be the solution. But yeah, I just hope Arteta can do it because I do want him to succeed. But I don't know, man. There's a lot of question marks surrounding him. But these players, man, they're so inconsistent and they do poorly under any manager. Should I play a safe and captain Chelsea defence, says Bartek. If you have Mbappe or Neymar, I would captain them still, that if you're asking me. But a Chelsea defender, yeah, might be really good, especially if they get an attacking return, plus ball recoveries, plus the clean sheet. You know, you're looking at double digits. But yeah, Mbappe or Neymar for me are the standouts today. Which three attackers on a limitless? It'd be Mbappe, Benzema and Neymar, and it'd be the same on a wild card. I'd recommend the same three. And yeah, just in general, I'd recommend those. Going forward, if Benzema does go through, I'm definitely going to be getting him in for Haaland, unless PSG go out. Not a bait name. I'm from Iran, so my last name seems strange to you. No, fair enough. It's just because I've seen a lot of... I have to be careful. A lot of people are putting, these kind of... either putting stuff in their names or they're just putting a comment with kind of, bait. But yes, good name. Don't worry about that. No problem, Bartek. And if you do captain a Chelsea defender, good luck. It will mean I get a lot of points. It will mean you get a lot of points and everyone's happy. Man City defender ranks. I'd probably say Cancelo first because of the attacking potential. Then it'd be Diaz, then it'd be Stones. The reason why I put Diaz above Stones is because he's more nailed. Stones still has the... he is a bit at risk of being rotated with Laporte. Other than that, Ake's not going to get a game. Eric Garcia isn't. Fernandinho at centre-back isn't going to happen unless there's an injury. So yeah, that would be my rank. And then beyond that, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really look elsewhere. Ederson obviously is a good defensive asset if you count him as that. But yeah, that would be my ranking. Walker, not for me. I mean, he's a differential, but if you can go for Ederson, Cancelo, Stones and Diaz, I just don't. He doesn't get as many ball recovery points as them. Completely nailed because City could also do Zinchenko left back, and they've played exceptional football players in those positions. Game a few months ago. I know it was under Lampard. I know they were struggling at that time, but yeah, that's just the way. No problem, Amir. I need one more. I'd go for Diaz then. And if fancy Walker, go first place rather than Diaz. I made my team back in the round of 16 and Diaz or to Cancelo. Let's just put it up. But yeah, my ranking would probably be Mahrez first, Foden second, Mount third, Müller fourth, Jota fifth. But to be honest, they're all good options, all good differentials. Yeah, I like that, to be honest. And if you have any last questions, send them in and I'll round off the stream. We've got 15 minutes until the deadline. We've got plenty of time to still make those last minute transfers, captaincy decisions, and also, to sort out your predictor if you haven't done that already, anything like that. So yeah, if you have any last questions, let me know. And if you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video around with anyone who loves UCL Fantasy or FPL. I'm going to be making a team selection video probably tomorrow, and if not on Thursday. Hopefully I've got the days right. Yeah, for FPL, and I might be activating my triple captaincy chip. And also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Dylan_RCM, the same as my YouTube handle. And you can contact me there, and we can engage, talk about football, talk about FPL, UCL Fantasy, and all that good stuff. So yeah, hopefully you do enjoy the videos to come, and you enjoy this stream. Better Modric or Casemiro? Yeah, I said this before. I still prefer Casemiro just because he's that much cheaper. He enables you to get other players. But to be honest, you could just go for both of them. But yeah, I do prefer Casemiro. At least in the context of my team. He was the one who enabled me to make other moves, which I couldn't have made otherwise. But Modric is still a good option. And they are both going to get a similar amount of points, I think. They're both probably going to tend to get 4 to 6 points every single match day, so long as Real Madrid are in the competition. So yeah, which Bayern midfielder? To be honest, from the ones available, I'd probably say, you know what, maybe Coman, Müller, Sane. Those would be the standouts, obviously. To be honest, considering how they played in the first leg, considering Lewandowski's absence, I'd probably go with Müller then. But normally I wouldn't really say him. He's quite underrated, even in UCL Fantasy and all of this stuff. But yeah, probably Müller. Müller, then Coman, then Sane. Sane, he's been off form. He's playing out of position. He's low on confidence. That's why I'm not so sure about him. There was a period where I actually wanted to get him in for my team, make a move from Coman to Sane. I'm happy I didn't do that in the end. So Mark Miruzzi says, free transfers for me. I'm guessing you're going to list them in, Dahu to Mount, Stones to Dagba, and Keane to Choupo-Moting. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, with Stones to Dagba, yeah, fair enough. I don't really see a clean sheet there, but he is an enabler, so I get that, and he could go through. Keane to Choupo-Moting's a 1 week punt. Dahu to Mount is a really good move. I do like that. So yeah, good moves overall, but obviously Stones to Dagba could be a huge downgrade, but then again, I get why you're doing it. It's for the rest of your squad and for your funds, so I completely understand that. And good luck, Mark. Obviously, I remember you watching my earlier videos all the way back in October, I think. So yeah, appreciate you tuning in once again. And thank you to everyone who has tuned in for this live stream. And all the very best of luck. Dagba 3.8, thanks, mate. Good luck. Good luck to you as well. And on that note, we'll be wrapping this up. It's probably the shortest deadline stream that I've ever made, but it is what it is. If you have any final questions, try get them in now, because I am wrapping up literally now. And I already said all my bits about Twitter, Instagram, and all of that, and about UCL Fantasy, all the tips that I have. And any questions that you have, I'm happy to answer them, of course. And hopefully you do well. After what Tottenham did against Man United in both games in Premier League this season, even I hate those cheats. Yeah, I mean, they never really get called out on it. You know, the likes of Dele Alli did it, Son, Kane, they are cheaters, but people don't really say anything about them, but it doesn't matter anyway. I don't really need the media, or I need most people to say it, just to know for sure. I already know what I see. Foden, Mahrez, Pulisic or Müller. As an overall asset, taking into account future game weeks and what I think is going to happen in the Champions League, I like Foden the most. But for a 1 week punt, Mahrez is my standout. So for this game week, Mahrez. Overall, I think Foden's the best. That's my opinion on it. Dylan Williams. Hopefully you enjoy that. Can't even say my own name, for Christ's sake. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining in. If you do have any last questions, put them in the comment section of this video and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. And yeah, just all the best of luck. Hopefully you enjoy UCL Fantasy. Hopefully you do very well. And the same with FPL. I'll be making more videos on that very shortly, including a deadline stream on Friday, 1 hour before the deadline. Don't forget to schedule that, or to put a notification there. And I really appreciate all the support. And I'll see you next time.